So today I'm going to be trimming up a HEB prime brisket, something we're going to do over the weekend. So just needed one today, so I ran to HEB this morning and got me the best looking one I could choose from out of the little case there. So you'll want to make sure you pat it dry. You do not want a wet brisket. It'll be slick. That knife could easily slip and cut you. And it just makes things a whole lot easier for that knife to cut through the fat. So you'll want to take this big chunk of fat off of the brisket. It is common on mostly every single one unless you get a super trimmed brisket, but then at that you're paying probably $6 a pound for a super trimmed brisket. But this is a Packer style prime brisket. So just take all the exterior fat off, like you see here. This is going to be just a brief showing of how I trim my briskets, and of course later on down the line we'll have a brisket class, rib class, and all that good stuff. So you'll want to round it out, that part of the flat. If you could see, the clip is a little bit sped up, so it was really flat. It's going to burn off, and just aerodynamics of it made it better to round it off like this. So just get all the exterior fat off as best or as skilled as you can. I've done so many, I just go right along. So yeah, just get all that exterior fat off, and you'll be good after that. Something to get in more detailed right there while I'm cutting that edge. Usually it's brown from oxidization. I think I said that word right. And it'll, you'll want to just make an invisible line, barely a couple centimeters, and just nick that edge off of that side. Like I said, this is a quick how-to or showing of a trim brisket. Of course, it'll be more in depth when I do a class, or if I choose to open up a Patreon account, and if you pay me to show you, we'll get really detailed into it. But this is the fat cap side. You'll want to bring it down to a 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Basically anything that's a hard fat, when you touch on it, you want to trim that down. If you feel with your fingers, if it's a soft like a pillow fat, that's going to render. But basically you want to try to get it as flat as you can, not too many hills, and just be careful, making huge divots. It's okay for these bare spots that you see. That's not going to make or break anything. So especially if this is for backyard barbecue, or even restaurant style. Now competition style, of course, you'll be a little bit more detailed, but I'd trust the flat side of this brisket for competition for sure. So highly suggestive, get some duck fat spray instead of canola oil, and just spray it all over the brisket for your binder. And then take your seasoning, of course, and you want to evenly spread it on every exterior portion of your brisket, obviously. And make sure you get it on all edges and all the sides. You want literally every piece of meat covered with seasoning. And make sure also one good pro tip: don't rub the brisket in, just pat it. You just want to really get that sunk into the meat without rubbing it all the way through and clogging up. Basically, in the brisket, there are essentially pores that you could clog, and then that would, not let smoke penetrate. So that is a good pro tip, just to sprinkle it. Either let it just sit and it will bind together as it gets wet. You'll see it darken. Or you can just, press down on it and pat the seasoning in.